There's no way we can build this in 35 days.
If you're in a position where you have to build a AAA game from scratch, it's an impossible pressure, right? Like imagine trying to build a AAA game and a franchise from scratch, and that's in some ways the practical extent of what we've been tasked to do.
A lot of studios these days don't start off with the ambition of, I want to make a game that's better than the previous Halo games.
In 2 years, we've basically gone from like 20-ish so people to 250 something for the whole studio. Getting all of them in 2 to 3 years to work together well, have the same mentality, same goals, same agendas.
We're a new team in a technology we're not familiar with. We're a new team with technology that we're not familiar with, a tool set that I think is not where most of us are kind of used to it being.
Everything you put in, it's like adding something on top of a tower. It's going to fall apart if you're not careful, and it falls apart, and we have to kind of figure out where the cards broke and put them back together.
There's a lot we could do and just not quite enough time and people to do it.
Quality is iteration times time. We're trying to get to quality by iterating on everything with the time we have left.
And on top of that, the expectation we know people have externally around what Halo should be, what it can be.
When people look back at this beloved franchise, how is history going to judge us?
It's new and it may be a little bit different, and that can be exciting because not all change is bad.
Games have changed, audiences have changed, they've grown up. Everything's becoming a little more modern, more textural.
You want to give people more of the same, but you don't want to be stagnant. You want to progress.
We ride the line of trying to catch up to where games have gone, but still have it keep feeling like Halo. And depending on who you ask, those sort of things don't matter, and it's still going to feel like Halo because of the sound effects and the universe and everything.
These are the things that make Halo Halo. Let's kind of expand on that stuff.
Let's not stand around and talk to each other for a whole bunch of time, and let's make the moments really about character development.
We're doing a lot more scripting and a lot more water cooler type moments, and
really just kind of walk out of a small hallway and the whole world opens up and it's just this huge, massive environment, and there's always a sort of sense of mystery.
You don't have all the answers. There's these amazing locations that you go to that look functional, but you're not 100% sure on what they are.
I think video games gives you participation moment by moment, like just something where you're so close to the content and so in control of it that it becomes your story as opposed to the filmmaker's story or the game designer's story.
It's escapism, pure and simple, in a way that I think a lot of more reality-based shooters aren't. I think that you really can project yourself into a world you've never seen before.
We have to make sure that whatever our story is, whether it's a continuation of themes that we've already established or whether it's brand new, that it has to resonate for every audience, both old and new. And it's definitely a continuation of the Chief and Cortana's arc, but it should still feel fresh and inspired to people who've never experienced that before.
Everyone knows the highs that Halo has hit, right? If we don't exceed those, because before it was shared glory and now its focus is solely on Microsoft. If we don't reach those same heights, then perhaps we did something wrong.
It's got to be this game because everybody is watching us to see what we're going to do, and going where we want to go in the next steps is only made possible by building absolute confidence.
The public is going to see something fucking extraordinary from us. That's not without a lot of pain. These guys, monster truck, tough as nails, bare-knuckled badasses in game development, are making extraordinary things in a difficult circumstance.
It's learning to ride a bike when you didn't know what a wheel was before you saw one.
What's fun? What are people going to enjoy? What kind of missions do we want to do? How do we reuse spaces and make them fresh?
That's a lot of the challenges I face on a day-to-day basis, like how are we going to pull this off?
There's a scary amount of work there, so we're planning and trying to make sure that we can fit everything that we need to in the time frame that we've got left, and hopefully we won't leave anything on the cutting room floor, but you never know.
If we can get out of the gate knowing how to ride a bike after this, then we can start attaching jetpacks to it and machine guns on the front, and then we'll have a sweet bike by the end, but I think it's going to take a minute to get there.
An audience, such an ability to use their imagination to think up all these new ideas and these new concepts and what could be coming in the future and what all those things mean, instead of kind of being grounded in the firm reality of today.
You could throw a dart in 360 degrees and hit some place that we're failing, you know, and it'll be millimeters away from a lot of places that we're being successful. I think those failures are taking us into they're honing the sword.
Hopefully, if we've done our job right, people won't even notice we were there.
Man, I hope that they remember that 343 took something that probably most people outside of 343 don't believe that they could do, right? And delivered at a really high high level and thrilled Halo fans everywhere.
This is something that didn't exist before 343, and after 343, this is part of the Halo fiction.
You gotta have the gumption. You gotta have the confidence to go after it, even if it means throwing your playbook away.
It's not something that you can really accelerate. It almost has to be forged in battle. The team has to go into war together and actually build a game and learn to trust one another.
We have a franchise that people love. We have characters that people love. And we have gameplay institutions and methods that people are really attached to. And so in some ways, having Halo, although it's kind of a specter and a lot of pressure, has been a huge weight off of at least my mind, because I know what the path is and I know what the audience is.
Halo will become something really meaningful for generations coming and the generations that's here, and that's because we've been able to provide those experiences to them.
Building the foundation on story, tools, and people, good people. And there's a lot of good people here.
It's a challenge, but we can do it, definitely, and we're doing it.
It's really realized as a whole this time around.
Just trust us, it's awesome, and it's going to be great.
Write it all down and you're like, wow, how can this team ever succeed? And yet here we're about a year from being complete, and you look at the state of the game and what this team's accomplished, and it's amazing.
It's not going to be easy. It's going to be really fucking hard. It's going to be really tough. We're going to face all kinds of challenges between here and the finish line, getting there, but I totally believe that we're going to come together and we're going to create a game that is going to blow people's minds, and it's going to put this team on the map.